I have always had an interest in trees. I've lived surrounded by trees, and they feel familiar to me, though they differ from the tropical rainforest varieties I grew up with. The neighborhood is peppered with two specific trees, whose names I only came to know after reading the signs in the park. The one whose leaves are willowy and droop down towards the ground is called the pepper tree, as it grows pink peppercorns. The other one is called a Moreton Bay fig tree. Its branches curl upwards to the sky and bear small round fruit. I question why the two trees' branches and leaves are grown in opposite directions. For what purpose did they evolve to their current stature? Why is this area covered by these two types of trees? These trees are important features of the community and for the greater ecosystem that it inhabits. Just from observation, one can see that these trees are purchased for birds, and if they're sturdy enough, they build nests up top their branches. The canopies of trees help break down rain to prevent soil erosion and provide shade on sunny days. The roots keep the soil in place. The fruits, nuts, and seeds provide food for the other wildlife. Meanwhile, for me, I like sitting under these trees for shade. I look up and see the silhouette of the bay fig's leaves and branches. The Japanese have a specific word for the light that filters through the leaves, komorebi. There is no word like it in English. I like to play with the shapes the shadows of the leaves make and watch the shadows move as a gentle breeze blows past. The shadowy figures from komorebi change shape depending on the angle the sun shines its rays. If I had stayed even longer, the shadows could have stretched, much like my own shadow in the late afternoon. Upon further observation, I noticed that it is cooler under the shade than the parts uncovered, and that this tree alone covers this corner of the park. With that line of thinking, I thought about deforestation and how ground temperature would rise without the trees providing shade. If there is less ground cover of shade, the ground will absorb the heat and make the surroundings feel hotter. The thoughts and questions I have connected to this particular locale is like how Ham and Boucher described engaging in pedagogy as something that can generate ideas in relation to the place at present. Iorio et al. Suggest that pedagogy of concern could be considered as engaging, shifting, and noticing, such as, in my experience, the act of engaging with the tree, shifting attention to the shadows, and noticing the shapes formed by komorebi all contribute to my understanding and connection to the tree at the park. The engagement facilitated learning mathematical concepts such as shapes of the shadows and angles of light, and scientific concepts such as the biological aspects of the tree, earth and space science such as interaction of the sun with the trees, as well as environmental science and the importance of trees to the climate. This process also facilitates the scientific method of observation, hypothesizing, and experimenting. While I noticed that I engaged with this place from a scientific perspective, Somerville explains that there could be a variety of stories about the same place which depends on how one views the place, such as scientific observations, historical records, ancestral stories, and stories from immigrants. Historically, this area of Flemington and Kensington used to be the Newmarket sales yard, where they sold cattle and other livestock from 1887 until its closure in 1987 due to the economic downturns and decentralization of the livestock trade. The trees are remnants of the stock route that passed through the sales yard. As someone who is not native to this country, I feel more of a connection to this place after engaging and placing context to what I've seen, heard, felt, and learned. With added context, it gave meaning to my experience and left an impression in me, just as it was observed by Power and Green in their study on the primary school curriculum through place. In summation, engaging with place as a pedagogical contact zone provides multiple opportunities to learn in a self driven manner through meaningful and lasting experiences with relation to our surroundings.